What's going on, guys? Marten here. I'm sure most of you already seen what's going on in the crypto market today. It's a bloodbath out there, and most cryptos are down more than 10%, and Bitcoin itself is down more than 10%. Now I don't know if there were any particular news that started this. I've not found any particular. The only thing I can think of is the Bitcoin Cash fork coming up tomorrow, but I do doubt that that could be it. However, there's a lot of data in the charts to go through here, and in this video we'll focus mainly on Bitcoin, total altcoins, and Ethereum. And I'll tell you that there is some very interesting details, so let's get started here with the Bitcoin daily chart. Bitcoin is now down 12%. It's going south here quickly. It was down 9% recently. But what has happened here is that Bitcoin on November 9th, right here, then that's when we lost the 20-day EMA here. And then we tried to get it back up again, but we did not succeed. And yesterday we got a pretty negative closing price, and today we just lost it here totally. So we took out, first to begin with, took out the low here from 2 weeks ago, and then it's just continued here. So it's really plummeting right now. And the big news here is that we do have a new yearly low for Bitcoin, and this is from BitMEX. There are some differences between the different exchanges, so keep that in mind. But the low here for today so far is 54.53. And this last low here we had on BitMEX in June, that was all the way back here. So and we've gone down quite a bit from that. That was around, let's see, 57.43. So pretty major drop from that low already. So will this continue? Well, if you look at the RSI here, it's the yearly low. It's at 18 down here, so it's very low, but doesn't mean it can't continue. And let's look at the weekly chart. We can all see the volume is pretty high here, much higher than the average. So let's look at the weekly here. And what could be the next lower target here on the weekly chart? Well, what's happened here this week is that we've already touched and gone lower than the lower Bollinger Band. And on BitMEX, that is actually the first time that has happened in Bitcoin's 18th monthly history on BitMEX. So that's pretty significant here. And what's interesting here is the next potential stop, and that could be this peak here we had in August of 2017. And the high from this week, that was 5013. So that's what I'm looking at here. I'm not saying we're going down there, but that could be next potential target to the downside. But on the other hand, there's more solid support at 4,000, even further lower down here in this area here. So I don't know where we're headed here, but these are some numbers to look at. And we could also get a sort of a quick waterfall event. So let's say we go really quick down here to 5,000 and then perhaps go back up again. On the other hand, we could get a gradual decline, and that would obviously be very negative for Bitcoin. And basically, I want to see how this week will end before I draw any particular conclusions here. So it's too early to tell here. But what we can expect here is that the volume will likely increase very soon here. We've had this descending trend line, as you can see here, for 3-4 months. And we're really close to breakout here. And this is only Wednesday today. So many days left here, so it could be a bigger move coming here later this week. Now let's look at a little bit longer Bitcoin chart, and this from Bitstamp going back many years. But the last thing I want to show you regarding Bitcoin in this video is a potential target here, and that would be the 200-week EMA, and that is right now at 4150. So basically around that area I mentioned earlier, 4,000 or so. So that would be some potential solid support. So that's it for Bitcoin in this video. Let's head over to the altcoins. And this chart is the total market cap for all altcoins. And we can see here some interesting data. And the low here is 87 billion. But that is not the low of the year. Actually, the low of the year is 79 billion. So that's much lower from current levels here. So that's interesting. I'll talk more about that later on here. But if we look at the 3-monthly chart, we can see here it's basically a waterfall event here, falling very quickly down here around 87 billion. And if we go back in time here, we do see that there is some support here in this area between 85 up to 90 billion here. So we'll see. That could potentially be a short-term support. Now let's head over to Ethereum, the daily chart, and Ethereum is right now down 10%. Here's the daily chart, the daily candlestick. And we can see here that yesterday Ethereum lost its 20-day EMA, and we also had this pendant formation here, and we got the breakout to the downside. So if you were shorting this, yesterday would have been the time to enter the trade. Now, what's interesting with Ethereum here is that we've not set a yearly low. And the low here for the year is down back here from September, and that is 166, and the low today has been 167. So not that far away, but still it's interesting, this difference between Bitcoin and some of the major altcoins, and I'll show them real soon here, the other ones. So we do have an anomaly in that sense. There's a lot of volume here for Ethereum. So where we headed next here? Well, the day is not over, of course, but a close here below 167, or of course lower than 166, then we'll likely get a near-term continuation for tomorrow. But is there anything positive here you can see? No, not really, not at the moment. That would be that if we were to just go back like crazy here and form a very nice hammer, but I don't see that happening right now. Let's look at the weekly chart for Ethereum. So what could the next potential target here be to the downside? I'm looking at this low here from July of 2017, and that would be around $135. So now, as I mentioned, Ethereum has not made a new low, and that is true for many of the big cryptos. So let's have a look here at some of the other ones. So let's begin with EOS. Weekly short EOS, the low here, we're right now trading at 4.68. So here's the interesting stuff. Here's a lower low from August, but then we have an even lower one from March. And that one is at around 387 or so. So we still have, lower lows here. And this anomaly is kind of interesting. If we look at Ripple, it's looking even better because we have not gone down that much here for Ripple. It's only trading at 0.45. And the yearly low from September, that was at 0.25. So quite a difference here between the current levels. Now, if we look at Stellar, similar story. Not as strong as Ripple, but we can see here lower lows, lower lows, lower lows, and the low of the year is from March. So kind of interesting. And the same story here is for Tron. Tron has not made a new low. It's more similar to Ethereum here. We're close to the yearly low, and I don't count this first day because those days are usually crazy when they do have their exchange ICO. So I would discount this low here, but I will look at this one as the yearly low. And finally, I want to show you Manero. So here's the weekly chart for Manero, and it's trading at $89 at the moment. And we do have the yearly low here from August, and that was around 79.5. So very interesting here. A lot of anomalies. And let's go back to Ethereum. Now, what does it mean? What does this mean here when we do have these anomalies? I don't know yet, but perhaps that some of these altcoins have already reached the bottom. That could be one theory. On the other hand, the new lows could be set here coming up, so it's really too early to say. But I'm just throwing it out there and want to show you that. And is there anything positive coming out of this? Well, as a trader, we love volatility. So both when it's going up and down, we can short the market. It's very likely that we'll get some high volatility coming up here in the next days. So that could give you some interesting trades, either on the daily short or lower time frames. Now, I'll talk to you more on Friday, which will be my next video coming up. And until then, good luck with your trading and have a great Wednesday. Goodbye.